So it's make Argentina great again. It's make Israel better. It's anything but America first. And now he's going to take away food stamps the whole month of November. And let me tell you what, 1 out of every 5 people that are on food stamps are veterans. They have fought for this country, and President Trump is punishing poor people for the No Kings rally. That's what he's doing. See, President Trump doesn't want to be president anymore. He wants to be the king. He's already established everything that he has to do. And look, you've seen what them young Republicans were writing, and you've seen that guy come out and say, well, this is just what all Republicans do and say behind the scenes. It's no big deal. This is how we all feel. They're all racist, male chauvinist, pedophiles, and now they want us to accept that. Look, President Trump's ratings are dropping like the rent on a burning building. He doesn't care that you don't agree with what he's doing. He's just going to start punishing the poorest of us all. And that's making America great.
Living in America right now feels like a punishment. You wake up already behind, you go to work just to stay broke, and you watch the cost of everything rise while your paycheck doesn't move an inch. Groceries are a luxury, rent is robbery, healthcare is a joke, and somehow we're the ones blamed for not budgeting better. People are working 2-3 jobs and still choosing between food or gas. Families are crammed into apartments because buying a house became a fantasy. You can't afford to get sick. You can't afford to rest. You can't afford to exist. But they keep telling us the economy's strong. Strong for who? Because it sure as hell isn't the people doing the work. We're out here treading water while billionaires build rockets, politicians trade stocks, and corporations raise prices just because they can. We were promised opportunity. We got survival. And what makes this worse is watching people blame themselves. Like somehow you failed because you can't afford a 1-bedroom anymore. Like you didn't do enough when the truth is the math just stopped adding up years ago. They told us to work harder, but never told us they'd change the finish line. This isn't a country full of lazy people. It's a country full of exhausted ones. Simple as that.
I'm really starting to think that Trump is purposely trying to destroy the U.S. economy and get America to collapse the way the USSR did so that him and his billionaire buddies can buy everything up for pennies on the dollar and turn us into a full-blown oligarchy the way Russia did after the USSR collapsed. That's the only thing that makes sense in my brain, because everything that he is doing is isolating America from its allies. He is destroying trade on the world stage with us and all of the people we do trade with. I mean, China's putting exports on restrictions on all of their rare earth exports at this point. There's literally nothing that he's done since he took office that is good for the American people or the American economy. Everything that he has done has been for billionaires and has been at the detriment of the U.S. as a country. Like, our entire workforce is being decimated now as he is sending a whole bunch of people out of the country who used to do jobs like construction and farming. So we're going to have a food shortage because there's not enough people picking the food. We're going to have a worse housing problem because there's not enough people building the houses. And it literally seems like everything that he is doing is just designed to destroy this country. And yet the MAGA people are still licking his boots. It's wild.
I'm at the point in my life where I feel like if this is not fucking rock bottom, I don't know what is. Because I told my director, I told everyone my situation. I have 6 days to figure out a second job, and then the job that I have now just cut me back to part-time. I have 3 kids. I'm about to be fucking homeless. And I don't know what to do. Like, I told them my situation, and they basically were like, let's kick this bitch while she's down. So now it looks like I'm going to be finding 2 jobs instead of just having to find another one. I feel like this is never going to get better. I fucking hate being an adult, and never in my life have I struggled this fucking bad, and this is the most money that I've ever made.
Family, many white Americans are in a period of fall. They are currently regretting voting for Donald Trump. And family, we are seeing these because of so many reasons. Right now, we are seeing the No Kings protests all over America. And family, I want to tell you that many white folks are tired of the leadership of Donald Trump. They are saying he is not a king, but a president. You know, he should treat his citizens very, very well. But we've seen him make many wrong choices. The other day we heard that he sent $40 billion of American tax, to Argentina. And family, many people are questioning that, because we are also seeing that food stamps would be removed, from people who are benefiting from the same. We are seeing large number of companies, go bankrupt. We are seeing farmers struggling. The other day it was announced that after the shutdown, there could be over 4,100 federal jobs that will be lost. And these will in turn affect many livelihoods. People are asking questions. Many folks are condemning the leadership of Donald Trump. They are saying that enough is enough. Family, this to me is what I call the heavy cost of racism. You all chose, to have him as your leader. You all chose to choose whiteness over good governance. You wanted to maintain the white privilege and our white president. But family, right now, nobody can be able to fathom whatever is being perpetuated by the very president they voted for. So family, I want you to watch this video all the way to the end as you see many white folks complain about his leadership. Once the video is done, we will get back and do a critical analysis about the same. Let's watch this video together, family.
This isn't me trying to fearmonger, this is just me trying to prepare you. The US economy right now is like a Jenga tower with 18 fucking pieces missing. We are one piece pulled out away from everything just toppling down. AI was responsible for 40% of US GDP growth this past year and 80% of US stock growth. And the manufacturing industry has contracted for 7 consecutive months, while every other economic indicator is saying this is as bad as things have been since 2009. Now, when you have a sentence that says the economy is as bad as it's been since 2009, you are fucked. So again, this is not me fear-mongering. This is just me preparing you. Our economy is in a very bad place. If you have a job, hold on to it with everything you have.
America is falling behind. When an authoritarian regime attacks academia, science, news reporters, free speech, students, the best and the brightest leave. The same thing happened in Germany, in Russia, in Greece, and it's happening here. And this hurts the country because all of the talent is going elsewhere to help another country.
Bankruptcies are skyrocketing. Right now, more trucking companies are going bankrupt, more restaurants. Farm bankruptcies are up 35% higher than 2024. Hi, today is your update in the economy. It's October 12th, 2025. We are day 12 of the government shutdown. Our economy is collapsing every single day. Look at this. Airports are a disaster. Last time we had government shutdown in 2018, we lost $3 billion every week in travel alone. Let's not forget about the safety. Donald Trump fires over 4,000 government workers, and now museums and all that stuff in Washington are closed. Washington has an unemployment rate of 6% before the government shutdown. Expect a catastrophic crisis in Washington. We have lost over 1 million jobs this year. Inflation is 2.9%. Groceries are up 29%. We are in a recession in 22 states. We are in a recession in construction. We are in a recession in manufacturing. The stock market tanked on Friday, dropping 900 points. Drop a comment below if you want to stay on the algorithm to get your update on the economy and the stock market on Monday, October 13th.
I'm going to make a video that is very high level in finance, but needs to be redirected to as many eyeballs as possible because this is eventually going to affect everyone, including yourself. And this is not a doom and gloom. This is simply just a high level overview of what is coming and what the impacts will have on your life. I've made videos about this stuff before, but they've been very in-depth. So I want to make a video that is much higher level overview to give everyone an understanding for themselves and how they can prepare. On August 11th, the United States national debt surpassed $37 trillion. Now, you might ask, well, why is this really important? Well, October 2025, or September, I guess you could say the end of September, is when the national debt, or essentially the fiscal year of 2025, ended. And we ended at a debt of 37.6 trillion, which means in a month and a half, we added another $600 billion to the national debt. The United States economy, when you look underneath the surface, it isn't doing too hot. Again, I'm not going to go into the weeds, but when you look into the data, it's really not actually doing that hot. And with that, we have 10 companies, 10 tech companies that are keeping the economy, quote unquote, afloat. Problem with this is it's very much looking very bubblish, very 2001, very 1929-esque. Now, the problem with this is the United States government has way too much debt. We are at something called a debt to GDP ratio of 125%. I think it's a little more now, like 125.4%. The reality of the situation is if the United States economy takes a turn downward because these companies aren't able to produce the results that they're essentially being invested into at the valuations that they have, or essentially you can put it in terms of like they're looking as shiny as they can be, and if they're not as shiny as they actually are, later down the road, then everything in the market could essentially pop. Now, the problem with this is the United States economy, or the United States government, has been a backstop. The United States government does not have the financial capability to backstop this bubble popping. And the genuine concern is that if this bubble pops, the United States government will not be able to fund, it will not be able to bring in the money that is able to then fund the government, the debt itself. And so typical things like Medicaid, Medicare, Social Security, the largest expenses to the government will have to start dwindling. Now, if this gets even more severe, how does this start to affect the socio-political sphere? And what if the money itself for things like subsidies of energy, like oil, or subsidies for things like food, what if that starts getting affected and farmers can't produce the food that we need, and oil companies can't produce the energy that we need, and we have essentially a sell-off and the inability to fuel the people that we have? What happens then? And genuinely, I would typically say, hey, the United States will be able to get through this. Humans have ingenuity, and we have the ability to see the problems, be able to work around the problems, create solutions to the problems. But the only caveat to this is when you have a problem, it tends to be something that's a little more concrete. But what we're talking about now is not a concrete problem. What we're talking about is a system failure, a point where the actual government, the entire thing that we know of collectively as what we all bank on as being secure, pops and it goes away. And that's the genuine concern. And so the spiral looks like this. The hype gets real in artificial intelligence that it's going to be able to boost productivity and help us grow out of the national debt. Then the productivity, the AI bubble pops instead of it being a real boom. And then that spirals over to the government not having the capital or the money to be able to fund the debt. And then the debt spirals, and then the debt causes the United States government to go insolvent. And then the entire populace turns into a socio-political, violent collapse. This definitely isn't a conversation you want to have over our dinner table. But again, more people need to be aware of this situation, because it is a process that is playing out right in front of our eyes. So let's talk about it now before the situation actually is around the corner.
Family, the downfall for America is here. Something that many scholars have been predicting, many spiritual leaders have been saying that white America would be punished in the years to come. But family, right now we are seeing the downfall of America under the leadership of Donald Trump. And many white folks are actually regretting for voting him as the president of the United States of America. Many people kept racist ideologies in their heads, and they thought that that was the rightful leader when it came to, having a white person in office over a black person or any other race. That has been the agenda that many white folks have been pushing in America. But family, right now, a lot of them are regretting. They are seeing their country fall into shambles. They are seeing the downfall of the great America. Family, sometimes you look at the leadership of America, you look at the decisions that the president is making, and you wonder, is this the America everyone knows? Is this the America that has been for the longest time been respected by many countries and people from all over the world? Because family, we are seeing cries left, right, and center. When you wake up, get into your TikTok, your FYP will always show you a video of a person crying, saying the cost of living in America is crazy. The cost of groceries is very, very expensive. We are seeing people complain about the prices of rent. And family, most of these people are now white folks, are people who voted for Donald Trump thinking that their interests will be put to place. But family, right now, everyone is going through the heat. They thought that they have backstabbed black people. They thought that they had backstabbed people of color in the process. But family, everyone is being affected. The reality has finally dawned on everyone, and they are seeing their country fall down. And family, this is something that many black people are actually predicted. Black folks have been telling white folks for the longest time, kindly do not vote because of this and that. Kindly ensure that you all make a good decision. There is no need for us to suffer in future, but many folks did not want to listen. They wanted to push their own agendas. And right now we are seeing the fall of America slowly showing itself each and every day with the decisions that is coming from the most supreme leader in the country, their own president. Family, at times you'd wonder what is happening, because some of the things that Donald Trump is doing, does not even make sense. The other day we saw him give 40 billion to another country. That is the hard-earned money that is taking from the taxes Americans are paying and giving out to other countries while America itself is struggling. Family, imagine many white farmers, are bankrupt. They've been asking for federal funding, and we're seeing money is being removed to other countries in support of other countries. Well, America itself is struggling right now. Family, some of these decisions would make you wonder and ask yourself a lot of questions. What is running in the mind of Donald Trump? Some people are complaining. They are saying that he is going to take their food stamps. He is punishing people for the No Kings rally. Americans are tired. Right now, there are protests left, right, and center. People are noticing that they actually voted for a person who does not think or even act to their grievances. Family, they voted for racism. They voted for fascism. They did not care. And family, the reality is hitting white Americans, to be specific, because they all knew that this was not the rightful leader for them, but they continued to choose color. Let me give you an example of the white farmers. Let's say in Arkansas. Why would you vote for somebody who tells you that he will ensure that the very first thing he does is push mass deportations, and at the same time very, very well that the people who are working on your farms, these are immigrants, most of which are undocumented, but you still go ahead to vote for somebody who says he will remove your workforce outside of your farm. Right now, look at how the white farmers are struggling. We saw the farmers in Arkansas, coming up and telling the government they need federal funding. And that is the new reality right now, because many sectors are struggling. He's also introduced 100% tariffs on China. Family, that would mean that these very same farmers cannot be able to sell their produce, especially soybeans, to the market that usually gives them a lot of money, which is China. Just imagine voting against your own interests. Family, imagine the tariffs and how it is affecting Americans in general. This is something that they have started seeing it in the time of Donald Trump. Trump wants to make America collapse so that him and his billionaire can buy everything up. These are the words of a white man in the video. He's destroying the trade on the world stage. And family, that's what exactly I'm saying. Farmers are losing market to China. Soybeans are rotting in the farms, Soybeans are rotting after they are harvested. Because now there's no ready market. China, who were very, very active when it comes to sales for the soybeans, can now not afford to buy them from America. Just imagine 100% tariff on produce, products that want to be exported to China. It can be very, very expensive. Trump is sending 40 billion to Argentina while Americans are struggling. Family, do you know the funny thing? After he sent the $40 billion of America's hard-earned, tax payments, the very funny thing that happened next is that Argentina ensured that they reduce tariffs to China. And that would mean that Argentina, being a country that produces soybeans, that many white farmers actually also do produce in America, they have gotten an opportunity to sell their soybeans to China, because the tariffs are low. You gave Argentina monies, they are pumping the same money to ensure that tariffs are reduced, and right now they're enjoying selling their own soybeans, to China. That to me feels like betrayal. Your president pushing funds to other countries and I'm just removing you from a market that you all dominate. Family, the hard, reality. This is racism at its best. This is how expensive it can be. Family, some of you thought that being able to ensure that racism continues is cheap. Family, it's actually very, very expensive, and we are seeing it right now. It's done to everyone. Prices of everything is expensive. We are seeing news reporters being silenced. You're being told you cannot criticize a president. Family, that's the new reality in America today. No free speeches. You're told you'll be prosecuted if you utter any hate speeches. Family, something that has always been protected by the First Amendment, the president does not want to know. That to me is fascism. That to me is dictatorship, authoritarianism. Farms are going bankrupt right now. Trucking companies are going bankrupt. Restaurants are closing up. Life is difficult, family. Over 4,100 federal jobs to be lost, after the total government shutdown. Family, just imagine this fall. A fall of America that you all are seeing, but can do nothing because of making the very wrong choices when it comes to voting for good governance, voting for good leadership. I always tell people that the biggest democratic right and tool you have is you being able to vote and being able to discern which leader would serve the interests of my country better. Family, let me know in the comment section down below what you think with the whole pandemonium, the whole craziness when it comes to America struggling and it's falling under the leadership of Donald Trump. Family, like the video so that it can be recommended to other YouTube users, and I'd be very, very grateful. Lastly, I'd really appreciate if you all took your time to subscribe to the channel. We are currently on the road to 50,000 subscribers, and I do not take your support, and love sharing my videos for granted. Thank you so, so much. See you all in our next episode. Goodbye for now.